Hey everyone, welcome back to a new Malicious Compliance video. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Don't Do Anything Else. This happened when I worked in retail around 2005. I was 15 at the time. I was working at a very small grocery store, and although it was a small store, we were always busy as it was near a popular beach and along a highway rest area. The night before, I'd worked from midnight until 6 packing shelves as there was a huge delivery coming in that had to be stocked for the next day. I was offered double time pay for the shift, so I jumped at the chance to work it. At 12 that afternoon, 6 hours after finishing the packing shift and barely getting 5 hours of sleep, I got a call from the assistant manager, Fran. She wanted me to come in to work a shift. I explained that I had just finished a shift and had only had a few hours of sleep. But the other girl has called in sick, and you are the closest person. I lived in the motel next door as my family was managing the motel at this point. I was too naive to know that I didn't legally have to come in and should have been paid overtime for working back-to-back shifts. But I said, fine. But I'm working on 5 hours of sleep, so don't expect me to do much. I got dressed and walked like a zombie to the store. When I arrived, we were extremely quiet, with the occasional customer every 10 minutes or so. I was surprised she called me in at all, considering that even on a busy day, one person can run the store on their own. Around 2, Fran comes to me. I'm going on my break. Will you clean the store while I'm gone? I picked up a duster, knelt down on my knees and proceeded to dust underneath the shelves. It had been thoroughly cleaned during the 6-hour packing shift I had done a few hours ago, so it didn't need mopping. Fran said, no, not like that. You need to get under the shelf to clean it. Why can't you do it? I'm exhausted and I'm doing my best not to fall asleep on the spot. I had informed her that I had done the midnight packing shift. You have to do it. I have a bad back. Fran then proceeded to grab the duster and leaned down against any guidelines and dusted underneath the shelf to demonstrate, making it look easy for someone who claimed to have a bad back. I'm going on my 15 minutes break, and by the time I come back I want the floors to be spotless. Don't do anything else. Absolutely, spotless, got ya. 2 minutes have passed during the conversation and I knew that any minute now there would be a tour bus arriving. It arrived around 2 every day. Cue the malicious compliance. I started cleaning under every shelf and every display like my life depended on it. And a few minutes after Fran had left, customers began to trickle in. But I was under strict instructions to only clean under the shelves. Customers began to queue up at the register. This was before there was self-serve registers. After noticing I was there but not serving them, a customer said, hello? Are you working? Can I get some service, please? I said, with puppy eyes, I'm so sorry, sir. I was told I had to clean the floors and I wasn't allowed to do anything else. I really don't want to lose my job. The customer stormed out of the store and a few minutes later came back with Fran in tow. She had been outside smoking. This poor young lady is in tears because you threatened her job. Fran, you have to stop doing this to your staff. Frank, the manager in charge of Fran, will be hearing about this. I felt brave and empowered by this and said, I told you I'm working on 5 hours of sleep after working all night with Frank packing shelves. I'm going to go home to sleep. I believe you have some customers that need serving. I was so tired and angry that I didn't care if I was fired. So I went home and slept for most of the afternoon. It turned out that customer was one of Frank's close friends and was the driver of the tour bus that arrived every day. I turned up to work my regular shift the next day and explained to Frank everything that had happened and how Fran had treated me. He told me to go back to work and he would take care of it. Fran got a harsh talking to about her behavior and conduct in the workplace and was let go. This was her final warning, as she had been doing this for months to other staff members. Assistant managers don't have as much power as they think they do. Oh, and her bad back? She didn't have any back issues. She just used this excuse to not have to do anything at work. The next story is called She's a Sommelier. So while I was going through college, I worked at this fancy upscale restaurant. You know, the type with specially folded napkins and free knives and free forks and 2 dessert spoons and lots of money for small portions. I usually served, but every now and then I would work behind the bar for slow nights or for special events. Now we have a fairly extensive wine menu with both wines from the region and all over the world. And because we are right next to a college with a well-known sommelier program, we got a lot of them coming in, trying our wines and pairing them with their food. Most of them were good people, students who really wanted to sample wines and try to understand why they go well with specific meals. I really enjoyed talking to them. They had good info that helped me be a better server and bartender. And I could help them understand why some wines went better with some meals over others. We always charged students who wanted a sample glass, but at a reduced price, so they could still sample, but we were not giving away a ton of free wine to students. They had to, of course, show ID and that they were part of the sommelier program to get the discount. One day we had this older woman come in, probably around 60 or so, for dinner. I had seen her a few times and she could give servers a hard time, but generally it wasn't too bad. Well, this day she decided she wanted to try a bunch of the wines because she's a sommelier. She brought it up a few times that evening as she kept coming back to the bar to sample different wines before returning to her seat to order with her server. She was always very snotty when she said it, like she was much better than you for being a sommelier. She was especially rude that evening to her server, wouldn't look her in the eye and snapped at her to get her attention. She asked me multiple times when trying a wine she did not like, "Why would you serve me that? It's awful. Take it off your menu, now." Like it was my fault she picked a wine she did not like. I was to tell her that we charge a small glass for samples, however at a reduced price for sommeliers. She would just say it is fine and wave me off every time, telling me to just keep pouring her wine. Okay, lady. Anyways, the end of her meal comes and she gets her bill and immediately gets up and comes to see me. With fire in her eyes, she yells at me. What is the meaning of this? Why have I been charged 14 separate times for small glasses of wines? I tried to calmly explain to her that we charge for sampling wines, but at a reduced price for sommeliers. Now, she wasn't a student and couldn't prove to me right there that she was one. But I didn't want to anger this woman anymore. And my manager is pretty good about us giving discounts like that for large orders to keep customers coming back. This, however, did not make her happy and she demanded to speak to my manager. So I went to get her. The manager comes over and I explain the situation and the lady shows my manager the bill. I want all that to be zero. I come here often and refuse to be treated like some common wino. My manager takes a moment and says, Lady, I have never had a sommelier in here order as much wine as you have. You cannot get drunk here for free. The shock on that woman's face is something I will always remember. We ended up charging her full price. What is your favorite story of this video? Let me know in the comment section below. Personally, my favorite one is the last one, so stay tuned. And please don't forget to smash the like button. It really helps the channel to get more views. The third story is called Enjoy the Break. I worked at a factory with a supervisor who liked to throw her weight around. She was also desperately trying to get noticed by the higher ups, so she did her best to up our numbers each shift. Our team had 75% more production than the other teams, but it came at a price. She made us skip breaks or stay longer whenever there was a setback to the production, like a machine broke or we noticed a fault in the product and had to throw a bunch away. We were all disposable workers, so we put up with it for quite some time because we didn't want to get fired. But eventually we had enough. Every time we were on break, she would make comments like, "Don't forget it's only 15 minutes long," or "Don't sit too long." Or if we were a minute late, she would yell at us. Don't slack off, you're not getting paid to sit. Several people on the team needed more time each break. One was pregnant and had to pee every 5 seconds. One was in menopause. And one just had difficulty walking to and from the break room. So you can get the picture. People were late every time and the manager would yell every time. Eventually she said, "From now on I'll come get you all each break. And I decide when it starts and when it's over." So every break she would fetch us, leave for a bit and come back after 15 minutes to tell us break's over and go back to work. One day she had to leave to do something during our break. I don't remember what exactly. Just that it would take her about an hour to get back. She came to get us and said, "Your break is starting now," and went away to do her thing. After 15 minutes, one of my coworkers made a move to get up and go back to work. But he got stopped by another. "We have to wait for her to tell us the break is over, remember?" "But she'll be gone for an hour. How can she... Oh. Enjoy the hour-long break, guys." We sat for an hour, and when she got back, she was mad. She launched into a tirade about how we screwed up her numbers for production and that we are all lazy and incompetent. That's when coworker 2 got up. "You said you were the one who decides how long our breaks are, right? When they are over and we have to go back to work." "Well, we spent an hour here waiting for you to tell us that it's over. Let's get back to work, guys." And we all walked back to our stations. I swear I could hear her burst a blood vessel from frowning so hard. We knew she cared a lot about those numbers and us sitting around would screw it up. But we wanted to teach her a lesson. Don't try to enforce stupid rules. The last story is called "Never Underestimate Someone That Knows How to Code." Many years ago I was a junior systems administrator in the computer science department of a large state university. Every semester we had to provision accounts on our Unix systems for the new students. And we had to remove accounts for the students no longer enrolled. We had thousands of students taking hundreds of classes or sections if a given class was offered at multiple times. Enrollment data was on an IBM mainframe run by a group called University Computing. They were powerful and well connected on campus. My boss had asked for a database dump of the computer science enrollment list so we could automate setting up and removing accounts. The answer? No. You will have to submit an individual request for each class. We will review it and then send you the report. So we wrote a script to send in these requests. On the first day of class, in the space of about 2 minutes, University Computing received several hundred requests for enrollment data. The operators had to manually approve, run and send us a report for each one. I then wrote a program to tally and assemble them. Since we automated and they didn't, that which took us a couple of minutes took them all day of really tedious work. A week later, with a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face, my boss came to me. "We have a lot of people add or drop classes in the first weeks. We need to do this every week for the first month of class." And so off go several hundred more requests. A week later he had an even bigger grin when he said, "They've complained about me to the department chair." He asked them if they would let us get the data an easier way. They still said no. So let's run the script again. Several hundred more requests were sent out. By the spring semester we had proper access. His friend, an insider in the trenches at University Computing, later stopped by. "Do you know how many higher people in the university have asked for this for 10 years? You're a sysadmin, and you got what deans couldn't." His answer: never underestimate a system administrator that knows how to code. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe for more content. Have a great day and stay safe. Bye bye.